Every software product needs a certain amount of magic in it. And I'm not talking about magic in the code, I'm talking about magic in the product. You want your users to be thinking, how did they do that? That was incredible. Let's talk about it today on Product Driven. To survive and thrive, you must adopt a product-driven mindset. Any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. This is a very famous quote by Arthur Clarke, and I believe any kind of product that you build that your users use should have a little bit of magic in it. Again, you want your users to be thinking, how in the world did they do this? It does something so cool, something so incredible that they're like, wow, this thing is a game changer. I can't believe it did this. Let me give you an example. My first company, over 15 years ago, we're talking about stuff that is pretty common today, wasn't common then. We built websites for car dealers. We also built the CRM system that they used. So a consumer would go to the website and they'd submit a lead. And then when I received the lead, I could see where they were on my website, everything they did before they submitted the lead. And then after they submit the lead, I send them an email. I know when they open the email. I know when they go to the website. I know when they click around. So when I show this to the car dealers, they're like, holy smokes, that's like magic. I can't believe you can see what the consumers are doing. Like, this is like mind-blowing to them, right? Guess what? That gets the users really excited. They're like, aha, this is an incredible product. I can't believe this. I'm going to go tell everybody I know. This is so cool, right? This is how you want your users to think. Now, if you're a software engineer or you work on the product team, I can tell you what you don't want. You don't want magic in your code. So that's what we're going to talk more about today, how to build this sort of magic in your product. And there are multiple types of magic. Let's talk about them. The first example of this is building things in your product that anticipates what your user wants to see or what your user wants to do next. For example, in Spotify, it builds playlists for you. Like, that's super cool. It's serving up a playlist. I'm like, wow, these are all my favorite songs, or based on my favorite songs, these are ones that I might like. My Tesla automatically turns the air conditioning on just based on my driving habits. Super cool. For those of you out there who are software developers that are using AI and code completion, you're like, hey, I go to type some text and it suggests how I should answer it. I don't know how it does that, but it's super cool. How did they do that? That's what you're going for. Another great example of this is simply removing friction, solving problems for your users. For example, my favorite example of this is like Uber. I can call a taxi, there are other options, but I just push a button on my phone and magically people just show up. A car shows up. Like, how did they do that, right? Now we know behind the scenes there's a lot of plumbing and software and all that, but all that complexity is gone. I don't see that as a user. I just click a button. That's where the magic comes in, and that's why it feels like magic to me. Another example of that is simply shopping on Amazon. Several years ago, you go back, like I hated shopping online because I order something, I don't know when I'm going to get it, I don't know if it's on back order, I have no idea. Well, now I know I can order something and Amazon almost guarantees me it's going to be here maybe at 5 a.m. tomorrow or in 2 days. Like, it's just sort of magical. Like, it creates a magical experience for the users. Now, eventually we become kind of numb to it and our expectations change. But the best thing to think about is how can you eliminate friction, mundane tasks, and problems for your users? That's where removing friction comes in. The third one is giving your users access to information that they otherwise would not have access to. For example, at Stackify, one of my previous companies, we did application performance monitoring. So you could install our software on your servers, and then magically we could tell you how your code performed, why it was slow, what errors you had, what database queries were taking forever. That's just like magic. You're like, how did they do this? Like, where did this information come from? Like, this is unbelievable, right? Again, that is how you want your users to be thinking. And in these examples, there's so much noise in this world, so much information available. Like, you go into Google Analytics and I could build a report about 1,000 things. I don't know how to do that. Just tell me what I need to know. Separate the signal from the noise, and I will be a very happy user. And I will be thinking, how did they do that? How did they come up with this? Like, it's giving me information that I otherwise would not know how to produce. How did they do that is the thought process that you're going for. But how do you build these kind of features into your product? Well, you've got to have a product-driven mindset. Again, we're not trying to build magic in the code, we're trying to build magic in the product. And so to do that, you've got to be much more focused on your users and understanding the industry and how they use the product. So going back to my example from Vin Solutions 15 years ago, I built websites, I built CRM, our product sent email. I had access to all these things. So by talking to our customers, I could understand their pain points. Like they want to know when their customers are shopping. And I'm like, aha, okay. We already built all this. I understand my customers, I understand their problems. I'm like, I can see how I can innovate. I can build this cool thing. But it's because I'm talking to the customers and I'm thinking about this from a product mindset. I'm not trying to build magic in the code. I actually want really boring, simple code. I want magic in the product. And that is the mind shift that you have to make. The key to all of this is to build these features in your product that seem magical, but you have to hide all of the technical complexity. So just like Uber, I push a button and a car shows up. It shouldn't be I click a button, I do this thing, I click accept, I clicked okay, I da. Nope. You have to take away all the complexity from the user. If you're not sure how to do this in your product, that's where you can start. Look at your product like, hey, it takes multiple steps to do something. How do I make it one step? How do I make it 2 steps? Better yet, how about I email them on Monday morning and tell them that the product already did it? That would be even better, right? You have to think about simplicity, making the lives of your users as simple as possible. And it will feel like magic to them. If I wake up every Monday morning and your product tells me everything I need to know, and I don't even have to log into your product, I'm an even happier user. That's gonna feel like magic to me. You might be thinking, well, Matt, I want them to log in to use our product. Like, that's not really what you want. You want your users to solve their problems. And sometimes solving their problems can be done in totally different ways, which includes maybe just emailing them what they want to know so they don't have to log into your software. And they might pay even more because they don't have to waste time logging into your software, and that will feel like magic to them. So once again, you're looking for magic in the product itself. You want your users to think, how did they do this? You want them to get into your product and be like, aha, this is so cool. I could see why I would pay for this product, and this is incredible. Something about your product should feel like magic. Nothing about your code should feel like magic. Your code should be boring, simple. Any software developer can plug in, know how to make changes, and maintain this software. Should not be complex. Avoid magic in the code. All right, thanks for tuning in to this episode of Product Driven.